This is something that I live by even to this day. From a personal accountability, I know that there are instances where it's not fully on you, like you don't have full control of certain things, but those that touch on you, you definitely have something to say. First and foremost, I think this tells us the importance of systems thinking.
What systems thinking?
Systems thinking meaning
welcome to our another episode of the Many Things IT podcast. Today we have another interesting guest, and we are looking forward to having a great conversation with her.
Yeah, that's a good hope. That's a good hope. Yeah.
We're joined by Lindiwe Dlamini on the podcast today, and I'm sure our viewers are curious to know who Lindiwe is.
I'm also as curious, hey? I'm also as curious. I thank you once again for having me on such a day. I told you I'm a lady of few words. So yeah. So Lindiwe Dlamini, a mother of two. And I just love technology. Actually, maybe let me just take it back a bit into how I even got into the space. Growing up, I've always loved economics, the commercial aspect of things. So back in high school, obviously, I was leaning more towards, those commercial subjects. I was fortunate enough to go to university. So when I got to varsity, within the first year, obviously, there's those modules that are compulsory to do. Mm-hmm. And IT happened to be one of them. So that's how I got into the space. Otherwise, it had nothing to do with me planning it or aspiring to be in that space or industry. Again, whilst at varsity, fortunately, we had also the opportunity you could pursue 2 majors towards your first degree. So yeah, that's how IT happened. And again, it was one of the subjects that I kind of enjoyed, and and also one of those where I think somewhere along the way I got to perform academically better in IT as opposed to economics. I think with economics, people used to say it's hard. Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, and then there's this IT thing, interesting stuff. That's just how I got into the space. And hence I often say that for me, I did not choose technology, but instead technology chose me. And hence, I'm where I am.
Is this UNISWA?
No. I went to UKZN, University of KwaZulu-Natal,
okay.
Westville campus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the party schools in South Africa. But that's a story for another day.
Story for another day. Story for another day.
But really, shout out to universities. I did not, because I'm a computer science major. Like when I walked in,
you knew exactly
I was going for computer science.
Yeah.
So I'm realizing that if it wasn't for the fact that universities actually sort of made it compulsory, we would have lost so many great minds to
that's very true.
The other shadier field. Yes, offense, economics.
Yeah. Oh, he's an economist.
No, I'm just saying anyone who.
But I'm still an economist at heart because I completed the whole thing. Actually, cool. Not even at heart. I'm a qualified economist. Okay. So, yeah.
So, it's safe to say no offense economics?
No offense. You can maybe find something else.
I take it back, guys. Don't take offense. Because my guest may end up...
Exactly.
Yeah, this may end up being the shortest interview.
Economics noise. Yeah. Yeah.
So, going into university, though, had you had a lot of exposure to computers and basically anything technology related?
Fortunately for me, yes. I think with my siblings, my two older brothers, they're just into tech and they love things, I would say. If I compare it to back in the days, I never used to realize that. But when I think of it, because back at home, my older brother is into music. So back at home, they used to have a study room where it was just a computer. At the time, I remember it was cream white, but with the old scoop thing. Yeah. So it used to be there. There was music, speakers, the latest music, and then there's my cousin as well, who we stayed with. Music was just the computers and the whatnot, it was just always there. And then my other brother is into computer and I gave a deep. So yeah, I think even for me getting to school, it was easier because my older brother was already there. So first year I already had a computer in my room. So and also from a school point of view, we had those computer labs. So from a computer point of view, I think I was fortunate enough to be exposed to that prior to even getting to school.
Did you do any of your homeworks?
I did, but one thing for sure is that my hard drive, because I had to get an additional one, the other one was filled with music. And not necessarily school things.
No, I mean, did your brother do any of your homework?
No, not at all.
Oh,
I'll get to that. I will get to that. I will get to. There's actually a story behind that. Maybe let me just add more, which we'll understand. Okay. So, fine, I do my degrees in economics and IT, blah, 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 graduate. And then I had an opportunity to do an honors degree. And guess what? Obviously, first year economist, going to do an honors in economics if ever I get to pursue that. So now there's time to make a decision. I then fell more towards IT, obviously. So I did my honors in IT. So in our honors, we had to do a research project. And that research project obviously is done in phases, right? Everything, the database management, everything is interesting. The programming aspect of it, all good. Come the research. Obviously, you need to come up with a topic that we needed to submit first, and then it gets approved. You can start on any work. So that's where the pressure started. Topic dororo. I submitted, I think I made about three attempts. And the response was that, no, somebody's already taken that. So you understand now, I'm getting frustrated with this thing. Yeah. I need to submit a topic. And obviously without your research, literally,
you can't complete your honors.
Exactly. Yes. So that was the turning point for me. I was so frustrated, like, no, this thing is just not for me. I am quitting school. I called my parents, frustrated, crying over the phone to say, you know what, it's just not happening. I'm coming home. Please arrange everything and come and fetch me. At first, it was obviously, your parents were horrible. You're not a quitter, blah, 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 blah. But because of the pressure and how I would almost cry to them daily, I remember my dad said, okay, sis, it's fine, but not really okay. Do what you got to do, but, we'll make a plan. And then I don't know where I got that aha moment from. Where I felt like probably what I needed was just some inspiration. Now, both my siblings, the one I was talking about, the older ones, they're in Joburg now. And guess what? I'm not sure. I can't recall whether it came from my mom or whoever to say, you know what, maybe just go see your brothers. Maybe they'll come up with a topic.
Don't come home immediately.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, no. So this weekend, we're not going to continue with the pickup and the quitting arrangement thing. Just go to Joburg. Be with your brother. I'm sure my brother's name, the one who's going to take, is Sabelo. My parents are confidently saying, I'm sure Sabelo will give you a topic. So go up. Okay, Greyhound. So from Durban, Greyhound.
Yes.
Overnight bus
trip. I'm telling you. So I went to Joburg, we stayed with my brothers. Guys, topic. My brother, think now, come on, there's a lot of things to talk about. This IT, it's broad, what. Yes, I understand it's broad, but what's that topic that will, I was like, try this. I don't know. Before I knew it, the weekend was gone. They had to go for practice. There are music practice sessions. It was just Sunday. I needed to go back. no topic from my brother. So they didn't help me in any way. They did not help me.
So-
sadly, so yeah. They did not help me.
I'm still waiting for the plot twist.
It's
I'm telling you,
coming.
it's coming. So with that, I'm telling you that my brothers did not do my homework or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So on the Sunday, I went back. I went back to school. Obviously, come Monday, I still had no topic, and the Monday was the last day of the submission. So then it was clear for me that Sisi, this is just not for you. So on the Monday, because my class used to start at 8:30. So on the Monday, I think I woke up at 9 or so, because the only thing that I just needed to do was just go to the admin block
And
to deregister everything. Yeah. And for whatever reason, so there was a shortcut route to my lecture room, and then there was the main bus stop or anything like that. So I stayed off campus. Right. So there was then the main bus stop where you drop off if ever you're coming to the varsity premises. But on that day, for whatever reason, I used the shortcut route because I just wanted to unwind and take a walk. So as I'm walking, I think it was going for 11 or so. So I'm walking slowly, going to the admin block. And then I heard a voice calling my name from afar. You know, when you hear something coming from afar? Like, who's that? I continued walking. And then the person, I think, called me like 4 times. That's the only time I stopped and I turned back. And it was actually a friend of mine who stayed in the same res and were pursuing the same degree. The only thing is that I think he majored in business management or accounting and with the IT, but we're doing the honors together. So it's like, hey, I've been trying to call you. Like, literally was running after me. I've been trying to call you, trying to get hold of you. Where are you? I was like, no, I'm going to think. Oh, I had mentioned that, you know what, I'm quitting because this thing is just not working out. And then he said to me, I know where you're going. You know when somebody has been running, I know where you're going. Please listen to me. Please just give me 10 minutes, So then I was like, okay, dude, why, like, what's with the drama and everything? So he's like, I know where you're going. I know we spoke about it. I told you not to quit. And then obviously it's your own choice to make. But please just give me 2 weeks. We've been given an extension of 2 weeks to submit the research topic. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, please don't quit. 2 weeks, after 2 weeks, if you're still not getting a topic, then, so don't go where you were off to. Just go back to your room, unwind, and then come up with something. Yeah. So that's how I got to go back to school full time. Within that week, I had a topic, I submitted something, and it was, it went through. It was actually, my research topic was on IT outsourcing in financial institutions.
Interesting.
Very much relevant.
Considering where you are now.
I'm telling you. Yeah. So that was my research topic. So it touched on information security as well within the aspect of outsourcing, etc. Yeah. So
nice. You are clearly a better person than me. I used Greyhound for Umjolo. Same bus, but to Pietermaritzburg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey.
There's a UKZN there. So Greyhound. And when Greyhound went out of business, I think it was like 2019 or so.
Yeah. Not too long ago.
I was heartbroken. I was like,
your bus.
You've got memories linked to Greyhound.
I think I've also used it for you. Who's going to watch this thing?
The internet.
I think I also used it. We were invited to a Swazi party hosted by the Pretoria students. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had friends there. We had friends there, and we used the Greyhound to go and attend.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, safely say it was a Swazi gathering, not a party. It was a Swazi gathering. Yeah.
Just breaking of bread.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Do I touch on the work history? No.
Yeah, you can tell us a bit about your work history, basically, career progression and where you are now.
Okay. Again, I think my thing is just this. There's a continuation of the story. So again, it's always been grumpy in the beginning, and then obviously leading to something even more better. again, that research topic, right? Financial institutions. So I'm in SA. I make an appointment with Durban financial institutions. I think I went to Nedbank. Also went to, was it FNB or Standard Bank there? So obviously, because you needed to do like your interview engagements, like your,
Yeah.
So I would make appointments to go there. So say, okay, fine. I can't recall whether it's Nedbank or FNB, but between the two. So in Durban, so come through, blah blah blah, and then we'll meet the head of IT at 10. So you get there at 10, 11. You're sitting there by reception. 12, 1. Oh, sorry, it seems to be very busy. Can we reschedule? Remember, you've got phases and stages, you've got
need to be submitting
deadlines.
something.
Absolutely. Yeah. So now the frustration comes in again. I don't have the data that I need to pursue this thing. Again, I go to the other financial institution. Same thing. Oh, he's away. He'll be back in a week. So I'm thinking, you know what? The more I delay with the initial data that I need to start the work with,
yeah,
I'm just setting myself back again. So out of frustration again, I call home. I used to call home. I'm so frustrated. Blah, blah, blah. This thing is not working out. And I think they're doing this because I'm not South African. Then you start bringing in all those negative. Absolutely, because I'm not South African. So yeah, I'm really frustrated. And then I was like, maybe if I was home, things would work out. And that was an aha moment again. It's like, okay, go home, talk to the financial institutions back home, and then you'll come up with your topic. So I came home that week. I think I met with, should I mention him? Yeah, I think I met with, I did my research.
It's completely up to you, by the way.
Okay.
You don't mention names, or you can opt to just tell us
the
positions of the people.
So I initially I started with FNB, and then I spoke to Standard Bank for the research thingy. And again, with Standard Bank, I think I had a brother of mine, cousin brother, the one that was into music that we stayed with at home. So he worked for one of the banks. So he was like, dude, I'm on my way. I'm coming on this day. So your role is just to make sure that I meet with this person. And it has to happen at that particular time because I don't have time. I'm just here for this, and then I'm going back to school. So he arranged that it happens. So I did that. So my research project was on Standard Bank, Swaziland, by the way. So I did all the interviews and the EdMat with Standard Bank. With FNB, I did a bit. But I think because of the nature of the topic that I was really into, I had to choose one. The two, then I went for Standard Bank.
So more a depth thing than a...
Yeah. And at the time, I think based on where their technology is, I think I needed something more detailed and in-depth, So I got to do it with Standard Bank. So I've got a whole research project on Standard Bank, Eswatini.
So if we want to start a competing bank, we know exactly who to talk to.
Yeah. The data is
you
still
have
there.
all the background.
I'm telling you. Yeah. With the IT outsourcing thing,
Okay.
So that's how the interest in terms of the financial sector came about. And then I was done with school. Obviously, you come back, you start looking for opportunities here and there. Then my first job was also with a financial institution, Swazi Bank, that is. I worked for Swazi Bank, Pigs Peak.
Oh, really? That's my hometown.
At the branch.
Oh, is it? At the branch. Yeah. I was at the branch. Yeah, I was at the branch. Interesting stuff.
The best. It's the best Swazi Bank branch.
Yeah,
this is my non-biased opinion.
I'm telling you.
So generally, people say the branch is the best place for you to learn about banking operations and all that.
Absolutely.
Would you say that was your experience as well?
It was. Even though mine was short-lived, I only worked there for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but in terms of the people who come into the branch, remember when I worked there, I was basically front desk thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to have an opportunity to learn about the products now. And for me, I think I think what then helped me at the time was the fact that, those cubicles, like when I talk to a customer on the other side, they'll hear me. So I made it a point that, I need to read on imagine telling a customer on the other side, it's 6 months when you're supposed to say 12 months investment or whatnot. So you need to know about the products, I think, it gave me just even the types of customers or the segments that are there. And the interesting part was, Pigs Peak being Pigs Peak, ne? So I think between the 18th and the 20th, all you do is just fill in those
the deposit forms. Yeah.
Withdrawal forms.
Oh,
it was the
yeah,
withdrawal forms.
Yeah.
Because there'd be like a truckload dropping off employees from the timber thing, the factory.
After they get paid.
So interesting stuff. Yeah. And then from Swazi Bank, and I think one of the people that I had interacted with at the time when I was doing my research project, like quite a year later, remembered me. And I got a call to say, hey, there's an opening at Standard Bank. Are you interested? If so, please do apply, blah, blah, blah. So I went through the whole application thing and the interview process. And then that's how I got to Standard Bank.
And you've been there since?
I've been there since, hey?
You're not one of those that got there, spent a few years, left, then came back.
No, I'd say no. I got to Standard Bank as with the systems. I was a systems administrator. Okay. Yeah, that was my first role there. The only female in that thing, so it was all the gents.
Only female for a long time.
Yes,
is it kudos? Is it ehon? How do we?
So as the only female there, working in shifts, late night. Yeah, but it helped. And I think the team that I worked with at the time, they didn't regard me as the gender thing wasn't there at all. It was just us, You
were just a colleague like
any other. I was just a colleague like
them.
any other. And I think with that also then I became the senior systems administrator.
But sorry, just out of interest, was that a good thing or a bad thing?
What?
That sort of you get into an environment and gender is really no issue. You just considered as an equal.
For me, I think it was a good thing. Remember, at times, and the reason I'm saying personally for me it was a good thing is that from that time onwards, I don't see things as impossible because of the gender thing. It more so kind of like there's no barrier in terms of doing anything because you know what, we all have equal capabilities and equal opportunities. So just go there and do your thing. So I think for me, I took it from that perspective.
So that experience basically gave you the confidence, or it affirmed the fact that you can do just as well as
they do.
Other colleagues,
yes. Because the other thing is, if you, especially I know that sometimes obviously the guys would be
banter,
gentlemen. For instance, at the time we used to work in for you to run end of day, you had to go into the server room and the temperatures within the server room, like -16 and whatnot.
Yes.
So obviously you'd go there prepared. But I think with the gents they would then also, are you warm enough? Are you sure you're warm? Here's a jacket, that type of a thing. So they still had that thing, but when it comes to the actual work,
you're expected to deliver just as much as the others.
Yeah. And then I think that helped. And then I became the senior systems administrator there. From there, I was change control officer within IT. So there you were just literally responsible for testing new products on the system test environment and then implementing it in production and then also facilitate and coordinate projects and testing and whatnot. Yeah. From there, I became Lindiwe. Okay, so from a change control officer, then I became
leadership. So you're in leadership now.
Yeah, so from change control, I'm trying to remember which one came first. Yeah, so from change control, then that's when we established the touched with projects at the time. Can't recall. But then now I was with the production assurance. It wasn't production assurance at the time. So I was manager IT service delivery. Okay. So I became the manager IT service delivery. And then over the years, I expanded the scope and then also changed names into fancy ones. It now became, and I was now the manager IT production assurance and customer care. For some time. And then lastly, now I am the head of production services. So production services covers your IT infrastructure as well as your operations. So we now technology and operations.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always hate the "who are you" question. Who is Lindiwe? Because you have a job interview and they ask that question. You're like, but what am I supposed to say? But yeah, thank you, Lindiwe. I think that this has been the most insightful response to a "who are you" question I have ever heard.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's amazing. So really, I think I did not get the opportunity at the start. Sylvia had a flying start and I was still getting. And thank you for heeding the call, really. So right now you have a very fancy title that I cannot recall from the top of my head. So
it's not fancy anymore, it's even shorter.
But walk us through your day-to-day. What do you do?
Yeah, what do I do? Okay, so it's in terms of what I do on a daily basis, I'll put it out into three aspects, right?
Yes.
So there is the element of me putting out the fires whenever there's an issue, whatever, trying to keep the lights on. So that is what I get myself involved in, depending on which of the, what do we call it, the portfolios that I've mentioned. I think in terms of it's very, okay, let me put it like this. So from an IT point of view, it is straightforward. It's IT infrastructure. And then personally from then a day to day, there's also the elements of the operations aspect of it. And your operations, it covers your cash centers, your reconciliation, your foreign exchange aspect. And then there is also, what's this one? You guys. Okay, wait. So it's the International Business Center, which is your foreign payments. Yeah. And then you've also got your regulatory reporting, your ex-con. And then you've got your exchange control. I've mentioned exchange control. And then you've got your reconciliation as well as the cash center. And then within the operations side, you've also have your domestic payments as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you keep the gears going.
So
she runs the bank. In summary.
So that's why I'm saying sometimes you find yourself obviously, putting out fires where there is then that need across the board. And then also I think day-to-day meetings. Oftentimes you are in meetings, but with the meetings, I would say it differs. It's not all the time that you are dealing an issue. There's also those strategic calls that we are engaged in, which are looking into either investments or deployments that are going to, that are more of a futuristic aspect of it. And there's a lot of engagements with different stakeholders. I think it's not just me getting into my desk and doing this. And sometimes you come up with a to-do list, and then whilst you're down at number 2, then something else comes up.
Changes completely.
Then it's just, And hence for me, I still believe in the to-do list thing, because trust me, there's a lot of distraction and there's a lot of moving parts that you find yourself, engaged in. So whether you've ticked all your to-do, whatever, but it always helps to then go back to that page to say, oh, this is what I planned on doing. Have I done it? Or then you are able to then reschedule it or plan it for another day. But it always helps when you, especially in the evening or whenever, when you just flip through your to-do or your journal.
And
it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting in terms of, oh, this is what I wanted to do. Have I done it? Should I do it? When can I do it? Do I need to talk to somebody? Who do I need to talk to? Engage. I think for me, what is key is collaboration is critical. It's a critical element. And also, I think because you deal with a lot of people and there are a lot of moving parts. So so you need to just keep it moving. Yeah.
I know this is probably just a drop in the ocean compared to what you actually do on day to day, but I think there's a lot of insight there. Our producer, who I'm not allowed to call sound guy for some reason, and I'm still hurt. He likes doing this thing where he brings in something completely irrelevant, and for you, for some reason, he wanted to know your top 5 binge-worthy TV series. So maybe just one for now. We'll just keep prompting through the conversation as.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm more of a reality TV person.
Okay.
So I love reality shows. I could watch those all day. However, I think from a binging point of view, like when I'm also into, which is something that I would sit and watch all day. You know, those investigative journalism shows?
Okay.
Yeah, I could sit all day. You know, when you're just chilling there and then it's like, little did he know that he was being followed. And then tell us on the 14th of February, this is what, I love watching that.
Yeah. So I hope you saw the disappointment in my face when you said reality TV.
Yeah.
And then the immediate approval when you said investigator.
Yeah.
So what would one show be?
I hardly have time for that right now, but the one show that I would, and this thing just went blank. We'll come back to the name, ne? Let me try and remember. I'll try and remember.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to expose myself.
Okay. So
we'll come back to that.
So from what I have taken with everything that you've mentioned so far is one of my favorite rappers said relationships are the greatest wealth. And with your story, and basically how you've basically gave us insight to who you are as a person. It's been through a story and it's been intriguing. First, it was the call to your parents to say, guys, and then it was a trip to your brothers, and then there was your cousin there holding a door open for you just so you can sit. And then it was a call that was as a result of an engagement that you'd had and an impression that you have made. I'm going to explicitly ask that you don't mention names for this one, because in case I know people are definitely going to watch, so I don't want anyone feeling like they were left out. Guys, we have a limited amount of time, so I just want to ask, what meaningful relationships do you keep in your life?
Okay. So in terms of the relationships, I'll start with the fact that before you can even establish those relationships, you need to understand and know who you are and what that means. Personally, I've always said I am an introvert, right? And me knowing that I'm an introvert, I've always used it as more of a self-sabotage thing, if I may put it like that. Because before I can say or do anything, I'm an introvert, and hence in terms of establishing relationships, I think with the exposure that I've had, I would say I could have been far if I had not used that I'm an introvert
as an alibi.
Absolutely. Because you could be in a room full of opportunities, but because you have a lot of internal conversations, should I do it? Should I talk to, that type of a thing? And guess what? Boom, the opportunity is gone. So that's one element. So in terms of the relationships that I have now, it had to get to a point where I tell myself that it has to be intentional. By it being intentional, it's not my comfort zone. So I need to push myself out of the comfort zone, right? So the meaningful relationships that I have had was that it wasn't, I've tried now not to make it just a random thing. It's a deliberate thing to say, you know what, and they say, well, I declare first. And the fact that, and the use of the word self-sabotage was actually through an engagement that I had. And this person that I was talking to, you know, trying to have established a relationship in terms of the mentoring and whatnot. It's like, you know what, you're actually telling me a whole lot of good things, but 80% you're self-sabotaging yourself by the remarks that you make concerning your abilities, and you being an introvert and you're not, you know, expecting everything to just boom, you know. And so it's more of a deliberate thing now to say, from Lindiwe, this is what I want to get out of the engagement that I have. If Lindiwe is one person who is very much outspoken, and I know that at one point I will need to get, or at least tap into that, then obviously I will engage Lindiwe and say, you know what, this is me, and this is where I want to, you know, get to. And I think one of the things that I would refer to as a meaningful relationship, and it's something that I use even to this day, the quitting part. No, you know how many times I've told myself, "What I'm quitting it." Imagine now remembering another one in the workplace. I was so frustrated, like literally frustrated, and because of the relationships again. I think with our previous boss at the time. I went to him, and he was at Dlamini, by the way. I'm sure people will know. Was at Dlamini, and you know, I was so frustrated. I was like, you know, Nkosi, this is not happening. I'm quitting. He took it lightly. I said, yes, I mean, I don't have time for your thing. You know, because we had that relationship. I said, I mean, it's just not giving. You cannot. He literally said to me, because you know when you're frustrated, you try to express yourself, and then your eyes start being classy. You know, eyes can betray us and tears. You know, so my eyes are classy. So he literally said, you know what, take the day off, come back on Monday, and then we can have this conversation. Because right now, clearly, you know, your reasoning and your thinking is just clouded. So that, to me, I appreciated that. The fact that, you know, sometimes because he knew who I was, he didn't say, oh, you want to quit sharp, go. You know, he said, you know, just think it through. And then you go. That's one aspect. And then the other one, because the issue that I had raised at the time with this boss, he wasn't there anymore. We had another leader. So the issue that I had raised was not dealt. I just, you know, lived with it at the time. So obviously, there would be certain things that would trigger that frustration and whatnot. And he said to me, who actually had a sit down, I told him, you know what, I think this is it for me. If this is not attended to, etc., I'm not gonna, you know, I'll just go. And then he said, and this is something that I live by even to this day from a personal accountability. I know that there are instances where it's not fully on you, like you don't have full control of certain things, but those that touch on you, you definitely have something to say. And this leader of mine said, you know what, the thing is, when you come to work, and before even getting to that, is the fact that sometimes when we need something and it doesn't happen at the time that we want it to be, and it doesn't happen how we want it to be, then we become disgruntled, of which Vela, it's human, you know. Then you start, you know, pulling back, etc., etc. So it was based on that. I recall that I was starting to do the pull, pulling away. Exactly, absolutely. And then he literally sat me down and said, you know what, treat your day-to-day work and your life in the office space as, because obviously we're in the financial industry, he had to use an example of, you know, accounts. And it's like, do you know that you've got your fixed account, you know, with a fixed deposit, rather, you have your fixed deposit. Your fixed deposit has got a maturity date, right? And then also, because it's a deposit and more of a savings, you do agree on how much you're going to deposit on a month-to-month basis, and then refer it back to you here. So he said, you come to work, it's a deposit. So now you've agreed that, you know what, you're working towards a fixed deposit. So whatever you do on a daily basis is basically what you are putting in terms of your work. You're putting in, if it's $500, for instance, how you behave in the work and how you deliver is what you are depositing yourself. So now the question to you is that when it comes to the maturity date, obviously, because you've been depositing, you need to withdraw at some point. So come the maturity date, how much will you withdraw? If today you put, tomorrow you don't put. So it spoke to consistency. Say, now you are not putting today, tomorrow you're putting exactly how you're going to calculate your interest, the type of a thing. And then the other element to it was the fact that because it's got the maturity date is when actually I would say when the term expires, right? But within the term, the account earns interest, you understand, before you get to the end of the term. So it earns interest based on how much you've been putting in. So sometimes things may not happen for you at the time that you expect it to because it hasn't reached its maturity state. So just because they don't give you something in the workplace doesn't mean that you have to pull back and not deliver and not deliver consistently as you should, because your fixed term is coming. And then in terms of the interest, those are the small benefits that you get along just for being you and for what you put in the workplace. So whatever situation that you come across or you face, just ask yourself, am I depositing or am I withdrawing before maturity time? And to me, I think that was something that I learned because, again, oftentimes we want things to go our way, and if it doesn't, we pull back. And yet, it is still part of the process that you're supposed to. If it's a 6 months fixed term account, is 6 months. So when just because you're on month number 3, you're expecting to get your interest, you're expecting your thing to mature and whatnot. It's not. It doesn't work like that.
It will come in its time.
In its time.
In the
and
right
the thing
time.
is, with that, when the time has come, you always look back to say, how much have you been putting in? Then you calculate your, So yeah, I think those are the meaningful relationships that I hold dear. And again, it often becomes how you communicate and what you communicate. That keeps relationships, even from a group point of view, internally, how you communicate, because we can say the same thing, but how you say it and how I say it may be different, and how I say it may leave a mark, and that is going to establish a relationship that's going to open opportunities for me in future.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd say, I'd like to thank my mom, my dad. But fortunately, we got a very rich and thank you for that.
And that was quite and insightful.
Actually, and that's the reason I'm wearing this one. Eh? Do you see this one? It comes back to
no one is coming. You are the one you have been waiting for.
Absolutely, because everything is, if it's within your control. Actually, I attended a leadership conference or training. And were given these ones as souvenir. And it was actually one of the messages that stuck with me say that, you know what, you own your career growth path, you own everything. If it's networks, you have to, because the other thing, Lindiwe and Sylvia, oftentimes, and I know that I've been one person who's been like that, is to say, I do my job very well. Surely they are seeing that I am doing it quite well, Should there be opportunities, guys?
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious.
They will know.
They will know.
Yeah.
And yet, it doesn't work like that all the time. That is just one piece of it. But most of the time, you have a part to play to that. And you don't have to bury yourself, in the works with, network. What is your network?
Put yourself out there.
Put yourself out there, because you'll find that there are opportunities. But have you ever said, listen, if anything of the sort comes up, I'm there.
Put your hand up.
Absolutely. So, it comes back to just you owning up your thing. For me personally, like I'm saying, it's still in that aha moment. I'm trying to get into the path, and I'd say I'm fortunate because now recently I've just been exposed to those sessions where it really stuck with me that, listen, girl, you own this thing. You have to talk. You have to, anything that is related to you as an individual from a relationship point of view, you have to establish that. Nobody's going to, because at the end of the day, I can't expect Andesiwe to think of my career growth when it's also think about his. When will he get the time to be engaging those people that need to, come to my party?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how we've basically had leaders only on so this couch, and the message is consistent, and with that, I follow your social media, and I know that you professionally are a leader. I also know of your friends who you are always with. For some reason, where do you guys get the time? And the kids, they're growing, they're doing things, shining, and a husband who is very much in the picture and very much a presence, How do you balance?
It's not balanced at all.
How do you balance everything?
It is not balanced at all. It's not balanced, but I try. So personally, I love spaces where people are happy and whatnot. So if there's an opportunity for me to be in that space, definitely I will be there. And I think to your point, I've got friends, I've got family, I've got, but in the midst of it all, I try to balance it through. And the reason for that is that one thing is, I don't regard myself as a superhero or a hero mom. Definitely not. So if there's an opportunity for me to get help in terms of balancing things through, I do seek help. And I think I've been blessed enough. The people around me, they're very good to a point that whenever I'm away, I don't have to worry or stress. That, oh gosh, my kids, but I know that they're in safe hands. I know that they are doing great. So it can never, it's not 100% balanced, but it fluctuates, meaning that it depends on what you want to achieve at that particular point in time, and you focus on it. For example, if I'm busy with training, right, there will be a time where I will need some time away. And for me to do that, I need to focus on the training. I need to seek help in terms of the things that need my attention on the other end. So get help. People are there. And hence, to me, the relationships and the collaboration is just key. And then also, it's not everything. Also, don't, if you feel that you are overwhelmed and you need to shut down, just do it. Shut down, rest. And then you will pick it. But in terms of it being balanced, that this is done every day. No. There will be instances where this one is falling short and then this one is, but at the end of it all, it has to move. Everything has to move together.
And you have a community that helps with that.
Community that helps with that, yeah.
Okay. Don't be a superhero.
Absolutely. You can't,
That's
you
the
will.
key takeout I'm getting from this.
You can't, And the thing is that the challenge with being a superhero sometimes is that you are often there for everybody else, but not yourself. So in the midst of it all, also have time for you. What do you want to do? What is that something that makes you happy? For me, I'll just give an example. With everything else that is happening around me, sometimes it's really frustrating and whatnot. But if there is an opportunity to go and see an artist that I admire or whatnot, I will go, whether there is no electricity. I'm kidding. You understand? So sometimes you just need to make that sacrifice for you. That one thing that is going to be personal to you and make you happy. I will go, Shem. If they bring Anthony Hamilton tomorrow, even if I don't have, something's got to give, I will go.
Yeah, Steve those Compella said, forget the budget.
Take care of your emotions.
Exactly. Yes. Absolutely. So I'm also that type of a person to say, if it's something that I need now to just unwind, I'll go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
So what do you drive on these school runs? I'm assuming they're school runs. What car do you drive?
Yes. So school runs, I'd say they're non-negotiable, by the way. I've got very, very insisting kids. Like they tell you on this and day. And then I think with the use of social media and technology, it has also made it easier because, the school communicates via WhatsApp messages. So you're always in check in terms of what's expected, what
upcoming events are there at
the school. Yeah. So definitely never miss any of those.
And what do you drive?
For me, it would be...
No, I mean a car. What car do you drive?
Yes. What car do I drive? I don't drive.
You don't drive?
I don't drive. I don't have a car.
You walk. Okay. So...
Okay, I'm kidding. From a car, I drive a Hyundai.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about electric vehicles?
Electric vehicles. Truth be told, I think they are the future. It's one thing that we shouldn't shy away from admitting. There's things with technology, the introduction of certain elements of technology. Some of them may look at them as far-fetched, but reality is we are heading towards it. So even I think with electric vehicles,
it's concerning though to me to hear you say that, and this is based entirely off the fact that if we were to simplify your job, it would be to keep things going. If you say electric vehicles are the future, do you think us as Swaziland are ready for electric vehicles? I mean, people who are on my social media would say I've started complaining about load shedding.
Yeah.
Do you think we are ready? And do you think, what do we need to do to get it right in a manner of speaking?
Okay. So with Swaziland in particular, if we zone down to that, I would say at this point in time, we are not ready. But obviously, we need to then start working towards, being ready when the time comes. I'll just give a typical example. Even before COVID, right? This online session and virtual meetings, some people were like, it's far-fetched, would never, use it. But the situation at the time, it propelled everybody to adapt to it. So I'm leaning more towards that. And hence, I think with it now, even though we may look at it as far-fetched, but in terms of the preparations, we need to start working on it now. And one of obviously we know if you talk of load shedding, it means we need to start, doing something more towards having, sustainable energy in the country. And the heavy reliance also on our neighboring countries.
Yeah, who have all stages.
Who also have,
15 stages.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's that heavy reliance. So it means that we need to now refocus in terms of what renewable energy can we start investing in the country. Have we done enough research concerning that? And then also what investments do we need to start, engaging on in terms of the different renewable energies that are there? Is solar more viable than the others, etc.? So I think actually, you know what, that's actually an interesting topic for me to discuss. And I will tell you why. The renewable energy thing. So we recently did a project as part of our training, the leadership training thing. And we're actually talking about an energy crisis in one of the countries, it's Zambia. So we're actually solutioning for that energy crisis in Zambia using clean energy. So, yeah.
So, Sylvia, if you ever need a panelist for renewable energy conversation.
So I've got, so there's something that is, and by the way, drums roll. So that presentation was actually one of the ones that won, during that whole.
Oh, nice!
Yeah, so we won. Yeah, absolutely. So so it's still fresh in my mind. So definitely we need to, as well as, and also we need to, because I think one of the things that was more of a learning from my side was also understanding the landscape of the country. Because there are certain parts of the country that, are more viable for this type of solution. But what are we doing about it now? Are we utilizing it as much as we should? Are we starting on the investments, the trainings? Are people skilled towards that? You know, how long does it take to even put up a plant? Because I think the danger in these things not pre-planned is the fact that we deal it when the crisis are already hit.
We need to be investing
You understand?
now for that additional capacity to be available in the future.
Available at the time. Because, you know, when you're doing all these things now, for instance, if a plant takes about 2 years to be fully established and whatnot, and then we start thinking of that, like it's dark, and then now we want everything up and running. It's gonna cost us more.
It's incredible how I could very much link the same analogy that you just make with that earlier you had mentioned that fixed deposit thing that you need to deposit well in time. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So every day counts. Each and every day counts in terms of what you're doing to achieve, you know, the bigger picture.
Yeah. And the geek in me is tempted to ask that if the opportunity arose at this very moment, you know how technology, you know, basically a rough idea where it is.
Yeah.
If the opportunity arose, would you get a self-driving car for yourself? Like literally being on the passenger seat and then the car is driving itself.
I will tell you, and not necessarily, but there are elements where I would need it. For instance, I have been quite open about the fact that parallel parking for me is a nightmare.
Okay, fair.
Parallel parking for me is a nightmare. So to a point that I recall a couple of weeks ago, I wanted to go to the Punu Mall in Manzini. And you see how the street gets busy.
Yeah.
There was parking, trust me. But there were 2 cars I needed to park. I drove past it because of the struggle to say, you know what, I'll be back, you know. So that's how self-driving would come to play in terms of, so it's going to be solving a problem for me. So yeah, there's elements of it, but only when I need it, not really as an...
Yeah, on the road every day. You wake up when you're working and the car is driving you to work.
But then again, is there a car available right now that's fully autonomous? Or we have several different models that have self-driving
capabilities, yeah. I think, I think in terms of it being fully, I don't think there's so much.
Yeah,
it's not. So there are the elements, and I think it's a bit heavily regulated in the sense that even the ones that sort of have a very advanced enough cruise control. They require you to actually hold the steering. And if you, so if you don't, it basically stops working safely. But I'd be interested in I'm still basically just following what's happening with the Cybertruck.
Well,
so that's if it comes to Africa and I have the money.
The features, I would say they're quite interesting. It's the look for me
of the Cybertruck. No, it's a definite no from a looks perspective. But then again, if you saw what they put out on social media when they were launching, so it comes in 3 models, and one of the models is called a Cyber Beast. And I guess that really aligns with the looks because wow, no,
it's not giving.
There's no way.
I love it. I wish I could have like some grandeur reason as to why it's very ugly. I won't lie.
Ugly.
But
and it's not a sight to see every day. That's the thing, you know. It's not nice. It's giving, for me personally, it's giving me war vibes. Like, take cover, you know, the type of I'm telling you.
Apart from the fact that it's not aesthetically pleasing to look at, but it does have intimidating kind of looks.
Yeah.
And is there a sensible reason why it's bulletproof? Can
War
somebody
vibes.
tell me that?
I've been saying.
Like, are we fighting? What's going on?
It's okay. First, it's American. We know what goes on there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think for me, I grew up with Star Wars and
Yeah.
Mhm.
and RoboCop and Transformers, and it just it triggers those emotions. So I guess it's an ugly car. I can't argue,
Yeah.
but it's cool.
We are agreeing on one.
At least we're in agreement on that.
We are all in agreement on that.
It looks terrible.
So I'm the only one who'd pick up a Cybertruck if it was available.
If I had all the money in the world, honestly, I would not.
I'm hurt.
There's better cars
Like
out
I
there.
said, in terms of the features, not bad at all. I would also go for it. Maybe in a Barbie look type
Yeah.
of thing.
Can they change that color though?
Yeah, even the like you.
No, but the color is because it's because of the material. So
You know
can
what?
get it
You know what
wrapped.
the other issue with the color is?
Mhm.
It's giving Mars rover.
Yes,
I know you get that.
exactly. And
Yeah,
that's why it's so cool. That's why it's so cool.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think on the issue of self-driving cars, there's also the AI element of it. And I'm asking the corporate Lindiwe now.
Okay, so I need to wear that.
Yeah, corporate
That's
head. So
Yeah.
AI is pretty cool. We all know that. And
Yeah, yeah.
we sort of have a consensus that everyone needs to adopt it early. So what happened in the past few weeks, this is a hot take. OpenAI, which is the company behind ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
Mhm.
Yeah. They fired Sam, who was the CEO, and then Microsoft basically tried to poach or headhunt. Is it headhunting if he's fired already?
No,
No,
well,
actually.
it could be.
Yeah, so
It
they
has
offered him.
elements of
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they should have went for
They
her.
approached him directly. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So they
went for
approached,
him.
gave an offer, and basically all the strategic positions on OpenAI, all those guys threatened to quit. And Microsoft was like, yes,
Come through.
come, everyone,
We're
come.
ready.
Yeah.
And that put the GPT project basically, or OpenAI project basically in jeopardy a bit.
Mm.
Didn't do well for their shareholders, I imagine. And then eventually the board that was behind
The
Sam's firing
Yeah.
was
So
sort of
that's
disbanded.
yeah.
And then they brought back Sam and everyone was happy. Everyone except Microsoft.
Obviously.
Yeah. But I'm assuming in that Sam may be joining, their shareholders did go up. Their shares did go up, and which is never a bad thing. And then fast forward a week or so later, Google is announcing that now they have an AI model. It's called Gemini. Yeah, Gemini, and it's so much better than GPT-4 in so many elements. AI is behind a lot of these things that we are speaking of, self-driving cars, etc. And there's been this wild ride that has been happening there by OpenAI, like the ChatGPT guys. So basically what happened is they fired Sam. Well, they were threatening to fire Sam. Was he fired?
I think he was
He
fired.
was
through
fired.
He was
Google.
fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, excuse me. And when he was fired, Microsoft came in and said, "Hey, we have a job for you," publicly, by the way. And now, when that happened, basically, a lot of the guys occupying strategic positions at OpenAI also threatened to quit. And Microsoft was like, "Yes, the more the merrier."
On board.
And then
Imagine.
at the back of that, so the board that was behind the dismissal was disbanded, and basically Sam was given his job back. So to Microsoft detriment, but I'm sure their share prices
Went up.
they went up, I'm sure. And then fast forward a week later, someone who was not even involved in the saga, they come up with a new model, AI model, Google's Gemini, yeah. So the corporate beast in you.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Okay. First and foremost, I think this tells us the importance of systems thinking.
What systems thinking?
Systems thinking meaning, just to simplify it, it talks about understanding and viewing things from different perspectives, meaning you need to understand the bigger picture. By you understanding the bigger picture, let me just give an example of, I would call systems thinking in terms of a thingy. Say you want to buy a car, right? If Andisiwe wants to buy a car, obviously you go to the dealership, you get your quotation, 500,000. Your installment is what? It's, let's say for argument's sake, it's 5,000 monthly. So in your head, you afford 5,000, right? That's the one element of it. That's not the bigger picture of owning a car. That's just one aspect of it. But if you apply systems thinking, which is looking at things from the different perspective, you start factoring in different elements or aspects to it. Yes, the installment is 5,000, but with the 8,000 that I'm getting paid, there is also the elements of fuel. Will I afford fuel to that?
Insurance.
Insurance. When does it come to play? And in terms of durability, where I stay, is it something that is, going to ensure durability of the car that I'm getting, or I need probably even a different model altogether. Altogether. So that is looking at things from different perspectives. You need to have a bigger picture, and then how these then link up to each other. So coming back to the whole Microsoft thingy, I think it's the one thing that should have been factored, because obviously if you're going to let go of someone, you think it's okay, what are the implications to that? If we do this, then what? If we do this way, then how do we, get about with it? And to me, when the other team members also were saying, you know what?
If he's gone,
we're quitting. So that's something that was never really thought through from a bigger picture point of view, and then also I think it comes back to saying, before you make certain decisions, just think of it from a bigger point of view. I think that would be especially in the corporate, because again, sometimes, how a product or an organization performs could be also linked to the people that are within the corporate itself. If you look at an Andisiwe as an individual, whether Andisiwe is technical or not, but the fact that we've got an Andisiwe there, some people, or it could either make or break that that organization. So it's also that, and then also I think it's something that we all spoke to behind the scenes. Don't quite understand.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's something that we spoke to in terms of understanding what that person brings to the table. That looks at if that person is responsible for that actual code. As an organization or as a corporate, how do we protect that to make sure that it still does as it should, whether Andisiwe is there or not. That type of a thing. So yeah, I think it just boils down to that. To me, nothing beats doing things systematically. Everything has got a touch point. And I think that would be my view.
But from a business continuity perspective, this is kind of wild in as far as business continuity is concerned.
Yeah.
If all of your senior guys are like, people, we're going. How do you prepare for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you prepare for that?
Well, it also depends on how things are done.
Very true.
Because I could maybe as a corporate, they could let go the way that they did. I think they did it to Google Meet, is it? how they fired him.
It was wild.
So they did that. Fine, them doing it and him being in that position. It also triggered a sense of security from the people, working in the organization to say that if they could do
the
it.
person holding the highest
Absolutely.
seat operationally can just be fired like it's a small thing.
Yeah.
What about the rest of us?
So it could have triggered the fact that if they could do it to this one, surely who am I, for them not to do it to me? And then it also speaks then to job security to say, what, I need to start looking also.
Because you're right. The other element would have been, even if they hadn't threatened to quit collectively, but
individually,
you could have seen a quick staff turnover, all of them leaving after that decision was made.
Absolutely, yeah. But I think what you mentioned is quite critical in terms of the business continuity.
Yeah, because it
actually says a lot.
Yeah,
but then the attitude of a business or a board that just takes that kind of a decision so easily, I guess, comes from no one is indispensable.
True.
Kind of attitude.
Yeah,
but it's a dangerous attitude to have in a competitive corporate environment where you're dealing with emerging technologies.
Absolutely. And it also, I think it what you're saying is very true. And it also speaks to also understanding the values that people bring into the table. Because if you don't understand, you will make those upright decisions like that and not fully understand. Because, the reaction already tells, and the fact that they wanted him back, it tells you that they actually now realize, we need this guy, you know. So there's also then that element of just know what's going on, understand the value that somebody brings to the table.
Yeah, he's one of the faces of AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying if he's one of the faces of AI and over the years, he's been doing well, and then you make such a decision like that, how many people have wanted him looking at the industry as well? So you need to then factor all those things in.
Yeah, I wonder if Microsoft made him write code as part of his interview. Sorry. But yeah, maybe see the movie. Any last questions before we bring it to a close?
Just one that I think maybe we missed along the way. We also talked about COVID and how during COVID we all had to switch to virtual meetings, working from home and all that. And that also includes not just people at work, but also the children at school. You are fortunate enough to have more insights and knowledge about technology because you are in that profession. So as a mother and bringing in all your technical knowledge, how do you make sure your kids stay safe online?
Okay. First and foremost, I think what is critical of us as parents is to be involved. We need to be involved. That's one thing. Meaning that just because you've got access to the internet, you leave it at that. You need to know even the type of music that your kids listen to. What do they search when they, log into the internet type of thing. Because there's that danger of them being exposed to certain things that you haven't even, discussed here at home. And then also there's a lot of influence that comes through from the internet. So personally, thank goodness for Google Family Link. That is what we use. So we time them in terms of
how much time you get on your phone or tablet.
It literally tells them a message, time to rest, go to bed. So we time them using family. And the thing is, it also allows you to have sight of what
apps they're downloading.
Because for them to want to download something, we need to approve. So with that, you've got control or sight of what your children are exposed to. So I think it's one of the tools that is working for my kids. And it has also, I know in terms of them, settling in, it was difficult because I think it started as a withdrawal. Because, before kids' internet were not then, obviously.
Open access. Yeah.
Exactly. So obviously we needed to put in controls to that. So the withdrawal symptoms were there, but we had to.
Did you have a full-on protest at your house?
Absolutely. And then you would get calls to say, it says I'm left with 1 hour.
Can I please have 5 more minutes?
Absolutely.
And they will negotiate.
They will negotiate. But it got to a point that, hard as it was, they cried, they whatnot, they then adapted to it. So it also enforced a sense of discipline as well, because right now schools are closed. Those kids would be on their gadgets from,
until 2:00 in the morning.
The eyesight, everything, it's not really good for them. They also need those activities that we grew up, doing. So hence the timing where they know that it's just gadgets down now. Whether they like it or not, they need a break. So I think that is what works. And also, even if, let's say, maybe you don't have that Google thingy, just know what your kids are onto. And I think one of the things that my kids would often say that I like to snoop. It's not snooping, but like I just need to make sure I check those WhatsApp thing. What if they're sending them stuff that is inappropriate? So also I remember my son even created a folder. It was archived on his phone. So it moved some of the things to that archive folder. And obviously I'll see. And
you saw the folder.
I saw the folder. So it is very important for them to know that you would want to see things. Show their interest in terms of what they're exposed to. In that way, even if, because it's one thing to do something, because their kids will do whatever they want to do maybe. But if it is in them that, what, yes, I'm doing this, but I know the right thing to do. Train up a child the way that, So I think for me, that is what works. Don't let society or other sources of information flood your kids without you not knowing about it, especially using technology.
Yeah, and don't fold at the tears.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yo, Shemina, give them that look.
Be comfortable with being the bad guy.
Absolutely.
You know how wild the internet is? A friend of mine, my best friend, I'd call him, we have a standing agreement that whoever dies first, the other one holds responsibility of ensuring that the other's search history is completely erased. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's how scary the internet is. And that's how wild. If two adults can agree that, okay, listen,
how much more?
If we die, just make sure that it's gone and no one has a sight.
Exactly. Yeah.
But Lindiwe, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I don't know. Do you have 5 series at the top of your head, or we can just drop them?
Or we can skip that.
Maybe music.
Or we can drop them in the comments.
Oh yeah. Oh, you want it for the thingy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Maybe we can do music. Interesting.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you're not a TV person?
Not really.
Okay.
So the thing is, when I'm watching TV, it's
passive.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Because of lately, I'm just into books as well. So the TV thing.
But why are we going music if there are books?
There's books and then there's music. Music comes first. I told you.
Music comes first.
Yeah.
Mr. Producer, do we do 5 albums? Do we do 5 songs? Do we do?
What are you listening to right now?
Anthony Hamilton on my way here. Yes, that one I can listen to every day, any day.
Okay, top 5 Anthony Hamilton songs.
Top 5, Her Heart.
Okay.
Pray for Me.
Okay.
I knew that one was coming.
I'm waiting for mine.
It's everyone's favorite.
No, I'm waiting for mine.
Charlene. Okay. There's Broken Man. I love that one.
Okay, Broken Man.
And then there's also what's this one? Point of It All. What's your favorite song? The thing is, I listen.
Over.
Yes, even that one. Yes. The thing is with Anthony Hamilton, you can't make me list the top because I listen to all of them.
You listen to everything. So you listen to all the albums,
All the
one
albums,
after
that's
the
thing.
other.
So for me, I was just listing the songs that I listen to almost every other week. Every
Pass
other
Me
day.
Over is one song that is so powerful.
I'm
I can
telling
listen
you.
to over and over again.
Over and
Yeah.
over. Actually,
An
all
hour.
of his songs.
Yeah.
All of his songs.
But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for
Yes.
honoring and heeding the call.
Thank you so
And
much.
hopefully when we have a conversation on sustainable energy,
Yeah.
you
Interesting. Yeah.
will pick up
Hopefully you'll
our
be
call.
willing to join us again.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually, it was very much insightful for me because I also got to understand the other element or aspect of business. You know, there's in IT, it's just strictly IT, but I think through that project, I also got to understand what the front, like your CIB people actually do, your credit people do in terms of, funding or facilitating these big projects, etc. So it was an all-rounder. So very interesting indeed. And the fact that we relate as Swazilanders, Eswatini, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will try and get open AI to
Please.
edit all of your songs.
So you can stick to Eswatini. Yeah.
But thank you.
Pleasure.
You close?
Yeah. Thank you, Lindiwe. It's been an interesting conversation. And funny enough, you didn't think you would have enough to talk about for this amount of time.
How much time? What's the time?
It's been
What?
yeah.
What's talking? I did not disclaim I said I'm a lady of few words, so I don't understand where the time flew.
It just goes.
But
It just goes.
But I'm sure our viewers will appreciate. And on that note, thank you to our viewers. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, Lindiwe, and
Thank you so much.
peace.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.